Conservative Broadcast Media. This is a Conservative Blues Show featuring Rick Webb and Carrie Shelton. This ain't your daddy's talk radio. This is in-your-face, take-no-prisoners, confrontational conservatism. We've got the keys to the bus tonight, so get in, sit down, enjoy the ride. Now, let's jam. All right, and welcome to the Conservative Blues Show here on the CB Media, Conservative Broadcast Media, exclusively only on Spreaker.com with your hosts Rick Webb and Carrie Shelton. I am Carrie Shelton, and there's my partner in crime, Mr. Rick Webb, right over there.
Nah, I'm over here. You over there.
Yeah, it kind of caught me off guard there. You know, I put all that together.
Yeah, see, and CB Media and Conservative Broadcast Media are really the same thing. CB stands for Conservative Broadcast. So
Indeed.
If we have that problem, then, you know, it's not that big of a deal.
Well, it's been a while since we've been with the folks.
Yeah, a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's getting kind of be a habit, you know, every other week or so.
Yeah, we got to stop all that habit stuff, man. You know, they make pills for stuff like this.
They do, don't they?
But you can't get it because Obamacare won't pay for it.
Well, we'll just get Hobby Lobby to pay for it. What do you think?
Yeah, there you go.
Maybe they'll sue us.
Yeah, well, we'll stand in front and eat Chick-fil-A biscuits.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
All right, man. What do you say we get this show started and get on with business?
We can do that.
Cool. All right, folks. This is the Conservative Blues Show here on Conservative Broadcast Media. We'll be right back after this. Don't go away.
Busted. I'm Jody Miller. Let's get started. The Baltimore Ravens have won the Super Bowl in spite of a 34-minute power outage. The blackout was the first bad thing to happen in New Orleans. The liberal media didn't blame on George W. Bush. Oh, they did blame it on George W. Bush? Never mind. Speaking of former President Bush, his dog Barney died last week. Liberals say Barney would have been saved if Obamacare had been fully implemented. However, some conservatives are blaming the Clintons. The White House has released a photo of Barack Obama shooting a gun, warning people not to Photoshop it. And conservatives are like, hey, it's already been Photoshopped by adding a gun. During his confirmation hearing, Defense Secretary nominee Chuck Hagel was accused of favoring Iran. Asked why he favored Iran, Hagel said, hey, because they're not Israel. Defense Secretary Leon Panetta announced that women will now be allowed to serve in military combat. Panetta reportedly got the idea after observing the Clinton marriage. Speaking shortly before leaving her job as Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton said she has done all she can do. It's true. There's absolutely nothing left for her to screw up. Steve Kappas has stepped down as president of NBC News. Kappas plans to spend more time with his family and fulfill a dream he's always had of writing nonfiction. And finally, the Logo Network show RuPaul's Drag Race has beaten Piers Morgan's CNN show in the ratings. So now Piers will show up for work in a feathered boa. Thanks for watching News Lesson, everybody. I'm Jody Miller. Be sure to subscribe to our videos on YouTube. We'll catch you next time.
All right, and welcome back to the Conservative Blues Show here on Conservative Broadcast Media with your host, Rick Webb and Carrie Shelton. I am Carrie Shelton. That is Mr. Rick Webb right there.
Yeah, right here.
And a barking dog.
Yeah, well, you know, you got to have that at the beginning of the show. They have to put their input in.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, usually this is a part in the show where we go to the news we don't care about segment.
Yeah. Hey, the dog cares. You hear that?
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, I think we're going to kind of let that one go for a while. And I'm going to bring you what I like to call my weird shit in the news segment. Right. I don't have any of the production stuff lined up for that just yet, but I thought we'd kick off this inaugural episode with the Darwin Awards.
All right, weird shit heard.
There you go. Well, the Darwin Awards are given to the man or woman who takes themselves out of the gene pool in the most creative and, funny for other people kind of way. The latest winner comes to us from Sarah Brazil. All right. Now, I'm going to set the stage for you, my friends. All right. Consider a bus traveling along the streets of a busy modern city such as Sarah Brazil. The bus driver, guided by instinct developed over years of experience, is expertly navigating the narrow streets of the metropolitan area. Suddenly, a passenger throws in a new variable. She stands on the seat and hangs her torso out the window, wiggling around and whooping it up. The Darwin Awards editors are honor-bound to divulge that this sounds super-duper fun. Arms extended, hair a-flying, an undeniably woot activity. Yet to do so effectively increases the width of a bus by about 2 feet. Head, please meet your nemesis in the form of a utility pole. The streets are narrow. Now you know. So in other words, this dashing young lady who was enjoying her ride along the narrow streets of Sarah Brazil got her head crushed by having it hanging out the bus window, going down narrow streets. There were some more additional facts to go along with it. One important detail that should be taken under consideration here is that the day before this incident, this girl had been suspended from school for 3 days, and she was not supposed to be on that school bus in the first place. Her parents insisted she should go nevertheless, because, as we all know, a mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Yeah.
Well, now it's gracing the sides of a utility pole in Sarah Brazil. What do you think?
I don't know what to think about that.
Well,
how was this person?
I also put together a vintage list here, if you will.
How old was this person again?
14 at the time. Okay. All right. here, going back in time, with some of the ones that I thought were particularly humorous. The priapism takes a penis.
Who said penis?
I said penis. I did. Doctors warn of a dangerous new method of cocaine abuse. This is from 1988. Injecting the drug directly into the urinary tract. Physicians from New York Hospital, Cornell Medical Center, reported the case of a 34-year-old man who suffered severe bleeding under the skin after pumping cocaine into his urethra. It led to complications that destroyed his penis, 9 fingers, and parts of his legs. They fill an eyedropper or a syringe with a cocaine solution and inject it into the penis. The man had injected cocaine before intercourse in an effort to enhance sexual performance. He was admitted to the hospital because his penis had remained erect for 3 days.
He needs to see some of those Viagra commercials. I guess that was before the advent of said drug.
Indeed. This resulted in a painful inability to urinate. The medical term for a prolonged erection is, of course, priapism. On his 3rd day in the hospital, the man's erection suddenly subsided. Over the next 12 hours, blood leaked into the tissues of his feet, hands, genitals, back, and chest. Blood coagulation caused tissues to die over large areas of the patient's body, and he was transferred to the burn unit of New York Hospital Cornell Medical Center. Doctors there were forced to amputate the man's legs above the knee and all but one of his fingers to stop the spread of gangrene. The patient's penis fell off by itself.
Hold on. No. Let me see something here. I just had to do that.
Indeed. If you want to get down,
yeah,
get down on the ground. Cocaine. All right. Nice. Gotta love that one. Gotta love that one. Another one of my favorites here. The fish gag from 1992. It comes to us from Zambia. A solo fishing expedition near Livingston Lake Livingston in Zambia turned into a tragedy when a 28-year-old Harris Simwaba was choked to death by a live fish, which accidentally slid and lodged itself into his throat. Simwaba hooked the fish from the Chungo River, 16 kilometers east of Livingstone, the Zambian media reported yesterday. When he tried to bite the fish to death, it slid down his throat. Simwaba tried to hook out the fish with a stick, but he pushed it further down his throat instead. Villagers going to their fields on Sunday morning found his body sprawled on the ground with a stick dangling from his mouth. The fish came out when one of the villagers pulled the stick out of Simwaba's mouth. Please, people, don't bite fish to death.
I don't even know what to play for that one.
This is not a good idea. Doesn't work out well most of the time. Now, you've all seen these people that believe that hurricanes can't hurt them,
right?
Or they like to they're going to ride out the storm, right?
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
This is the 1969 Darwin Award nominee called the Hurricane Hangover. August 1969, Hurricane Camille claimed 143 victims along the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Most were guilty only of being in the wrong place at the wrong time, unlike 20 who perished while attending a beachfront hurricane party. Despite evacuation warnings delivered by earnest emergency teams, their festivities continued unabated. The partygoers defiantly declared that the concrete foundation and the second-floor location of their party provided plenty of protection from the impending hurricane. Their confidence proved to be tragically misplaced when a 24-foot wave slammed into the apartment, destroying the building and subjecting the partiers to gale-force winds and violent ocean surges. Most of the hurricane worshippers were killed. A few survivors were swept miles away, cheated of a Darwin Award by the capricious hand of fate.
All right, here you go. This one takes a little bit. There's the alert.
Yeah.
All right, I had to do that, even though I hate that band more than life itself.
I thought you were going to come out with Rocky Like a Hurricane.
I thought about it, but I was like, that's so damn stupid that I'll play REO Speedwagon.
All right, we got one more for you here. You
All
ready?
right, I'm ready.
This lends itself to songs, but I don't think we have it, but maybe we do. The Midnight Special, 1992 Darwin's Award winner. 21 December 1992, North Carolina, Ken Charles Barger, 47, accidentally shot himself to death in December in Newton when, awakening to the sound of a ringing telephone beside his bed, he reached for the phone, but instead grabbed a Smith & Wesson 38 Special, which discharged when he drew it to his ear.
Ain't that special? Hold on 1 second here. Actually.
Uh-huh.
I know. There he goes.
Well, you wake up in the morning. You hear the work bell ring. And I march you to the table. You see the same old thing. Ain't no food upon the table. There's no fork up in the pan. But you better not complain, boy. You get in trouble with the man. Let the midnight special shine a light on me.
There you go.
Very nice. Very nice.
I've got them all.
Fantastic. All right. Here we go. Let's see what you can do with this one. You ready?
All right.
4th of July, 1991. This was the 1991 winner.
Mm-hmm.
3 Eaton men died on the evening of July 4th. James, Billy, and Ashley were killed early Friday morning after their blue Ford pickup rolled over on County Road 24. Hogs and alcohol were contributing factors to the accident.
Okay.
Okay. We found several beer cans in and around the scene, said Sheriff Andrew Watson. The driver had a blood alcohol content twice the legal limit. The events unfolded like this. The 3 men spent the national holiday drinking. Duh. Later that evening, they were struck with a sudden craving for pork chops. They were popping off fireworks when Jimmy said they ought to go get some eats, reported Billy's girlfriend, Emma. At 11 p.m., they drove 10 miles to a pig farm intent on stealing a hog. One of the men scaled the fence and tied the end of a rope to a plump quadruped. The other 2 men started pulling on the 400-pound beast. The stress of a struggling hog was too much for the 6-foot chain link fence, and a 14-foot section collapsed loudly, startling the other hogs into a stampede. I was asleep when I heard this god-awful noise, explained John Wilson, the owner of the farm. I run out of the house with my shotgun and shot off both barrels in the air and yelled at them to get on out. The friends loaded up their stolen pig in a flash, tied the rope to the truck, and sped down the county road in excess of 90 miles per hour. Unfortunately, they forgot to buckle their seatbelts, but the pig was strapped in. 3 miles down the road, the hog began making a commotion in the back of the pickup truck, causing the vehicle to swerve wildly. That threw the pig from the back of the truck, and it was dragged along the dirt road for about a half a mile. Distracted, the driver hit a soft shoulder and the truck rolled 40 feet, ejecting all three men from the vehicle and killing them. The victims were discovered at 5 a.m. by passing motorists. Police cautioned motorists to drive sensibly on dirt roads, wear seatbelts, and refrain from drinking while driving. The pig lived.
Oh, I got a couple of ideas, actually. Let me see. And the problem is finding where I've got it, because you guys threw so many at me at one time with that one that and I'm pulling these out for all of you listening. I'm just pulling them out based on what he says, because this is not.
This is not rehearsed. This is
not
live
rehearsed at all.
Radio.
So let's see. Okay, I'm gonna go back to. I'm gonna have to do a safe one here, and go back to the first thing you said. Let me see. Where's it at? All right, so I'm gonna go back to the drunk part.
I really do appreciate the fact you're sitting here. Your voice sounds so wonderful, but your face don't look too clear. So barmaid, bring a pitcher, another round of brew. Honey, why don't we get drunk and screwed?
All right, that's because they were obviously screwed by getting drunk that time. So,
Oh, yeah.
that's the best I could do on short notice, because I had something else in mind, but I didn't know where to find it.
Oh, okie dokie.
All right, what's next?
Okay, 2010 nominee. This one is an at-risk survivor. At-risk survivors are people who have displayed the same propensity for stupidity without actually taking themselves out of the gene pool, and therefore they deserve some closer scrutiny and perhaps keeping them from a willing female of the species so they can't reproduce. Okay, so here we go. Hard science with zombies. This is a personal account. Bub and I are great fans of zombie movies and have passed many a late night in front of the TV with popcorn and DVDs. Ever since reading the Zombie Survival Guide by Max Brooks, Bub is convinced that hordes of the undead will one day rise up. While trying to convince me of the impending apocalypse, Bub cited two facts that I found to be in error. One, the human skull is one of the hardest surfaces in nature. And two, a medieval mace lacks the stopping power to crush it. We argued these points for half an hour without coming to an agreement. The next morning, Bub texted me to come over and settle the issue. He answered the door wearing his cycle helmet and led me to his backyard, where he handed me a lump hammer, a small sledgehammer, and told me to hit him over the head. I don't know if the helmet would have stopped the hammer blow or not, and I wasn't about to try it on my friend. Instead, I devised a simple experiment hoping to avoid any nasty injuries. Bub and I went to the supermarket to buy 2 coconuts, one for the experiment and one because I really like coconut. We returned to Bub's house and proceeded to place that coconut on the paving in his backyard. I picked up the lump hammer and with one solid blow, reduced the coconut to delicious shrapnel. As I was cleaning up the shards of nutty goodness, I said, if that was your head, you'd be dead. I turned to see Bub trying to validate my theory by headbutting the second coconut as hard as he could. Bub was fine after a few stitches. Thankfully, not a Darwin this time, but I'll keep you posted. Incidentally, Bob was vindicated. He did manage to crack the nut since he proved that his skull is indeed harder than a coconut. My experiment was inconclusive.
Give me time to can love you real. Do you really want to hurt me? Do you really want to make me cry?
All right.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
And let's see, one final one here.
All right.
This is another at-risk survivor. This is called the scrotum self-repair. One morning, I was called to the emergency room by the head ER nurse. She directed me to a patient who had refused to describe his problem other than to say he needed a doctor who took care of men's troubles. The patient, about 40, was pale, febrile, and obviously uncomfortable. He had little to say as he gingerly opened his trousers to expose a bit of angry red and black and blue scrotal skin. After I asked the nurse to leave us, the patient permitted me to remove his trousers, shorts, and 2 or 3 yards of foul-smelling, stained gauze wrapped around his scrotum, which was swollen to twice the size of a grapefruit and extremely tender. A jagged zigzag laceration oozing pus and blood extended down the left scrotum. Amid the matted hair, edematous skin, and various exudates, I saw some half-burned dark linear objects and asked the patient what they were. Several days earlier, he replied he had injured himself in the machine shop where he worked and had closed the laceration himself with a heavy-duty stapling gun. The dark objects were 1-inch staples of the type used in putting up wallboard. We x-rayed the patient's scrotum to locate the staples, admitting him to the hospital, and gave him tetanus antitoxin, a broad-spectrum antibacterial therapy, and hexachlorophene sitz baths prior to surgery the next morning. The procedure consisted of exploration and debridement of the left side of the scrotal patch. 8 rusty staples were retrieved, and the skin edges were trimmed and freshened. The left testes had been avulsed and was missing. The stump of the spermatic cord was recovered at the inguinal canal, debrided, and the vessels ligated properly, though not much of a hematoma was present. Through and through, Pinot's drains were sutured loosely in sight, and the skin was loosely closed. Convalescence was uneventful. Before his release from the hospital less than a week later, the patient confided the rest of his story to me. Here we go. An unmarried loner, he usually didn't leave the machine shop at lunchtime with his coworkers. Finding himself alone, he had begun the regular practice of masturbating by holding his penis against the canvas drive belt of a large floor-based piece of running machinery. One day, as he approached orgasm, he lost his concentration, leaned too close to the belt, and his scrotum suddenly became caught between the pulley wheel and the drive belt. He was thrown into the air and landed a few feet away. Unaware that he had lost his left testes and perhaps too stunned to feel much pain, he stapled the wound closed and resumed work. I can only assume he abandoned this method of self-gratification. Submitted by Dr. William A. Morton, Jr., M.D., retiring urologist residing in Westchester, Pennsylvania. All right, what do you got for that?
All right.
Classic.
Yeah, well, just kind of got to do that. And since we're into abject stupidity here, I've got something I want to play to close this out.
Okay.
This segment, since it's a new segment, right?
Yeah.
All right, here, let me see if I can find it.
Whenever life gets you down, Mrs. Brown, and things seem hard or tough, and people are stupid, obnoxious or daft, and you feel that you've had waiting now. Just remember that you're standing on a planet that's evolving and revolving at 900 miles an hour. That's orbiting at 19 miles a second, so it's reckoned a sun that is the source of all our power. The sun and you and me and all the stars that we can see are moving at 1,000,000 miles a day in an outer spiral arm at 40,000 miles an hour of the galaxy we call the Milky Way. Our galaxy itself contains 100 billion stars. It's 100,000 light years side to side. It bulges in the middle, 16,000 light years thick, but out by us it's just 3,000 light years wide. We're 30,000 light years from galactic central point. We go round every 200 million years. And our galaxy is only one of millions of billions in this amazing and expanding universe.
Of course, I couldn't find a trimmed down version of this.
Just fade it up.
I'll be glad to, but I want to hit the end is what I'm looking for.
The universe itself keeps on expanding and expanding in all of the directions it can whiz. As fast as it can go, at the speed of light, you know. 12 million miles a minute, and that's the fastest speed there is. So remember when you're feeling very small and insecure, how amazingly unlikely is your birth. And pray that there's intelligent life somewhere up in space, 'cause there's bugger all down here on Earth.
All right, there you go. It says what I wanted to say. It just I had a version of that back in the old house that I trimmed out all the middle there with talking about the size of the dimensions of the universe, and it just said people were stupid and there was no intelligence here.
Yeah.
Anyhow, all right, I can dig that segment. You know, I think that I enjoyed it. I don't know about you.
Cool. We're a little long, so we're late for the break.
Yeah, now let me get that part back up. All right, then we'll go ahead and jump on to the break here. We'll be right back here on the Conservative Blues Show, only on Spreaker.com and the Conservative Broadcast Media.
open, still knocking at my door.
I always loved watching the kids play basketball. I still do, even though things have changed. It's funny, they can't find jobs to get their careers started. And I can't afford to retire. And now we're all living together again. I supported President Obama because he spoke so beautifully. He promised change, but things changed for the worse. Obama started spending like our credit cards have no limit. His healthcare law made health insurance even more expensive. We've had stimulus and bailouts. Obama added almost $16,000 in debt for every American. How will my kids pay that off when they can't even find jobs? Now Obama wants more spending and taxes. That won't fix things. I had so many hopes. Cutting taxes and debt and creating jobs. That's the change we need. Tell President Obama to cut the job-killing debt and support the New Majority Agenda at newmajorityagenda.org.
From Iraq and Afghanistan, our brave warriors are coming home, wounded. Some with wounds you can see, some with wounds you can't see. Wounded Warrior Project was created to support our men and women coming off the battlefield. Please help carry these warriors the rest of the way home. Get involved at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Okay, and we're back, and I think I walked away just a little bit too long here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how long we had dead air, but I apologize for that. Thought I had like 3.5 minutes, and evidently I did not.
No.
No.
And I can't control that from here.
Yeah, I know. So anyway, welcome back to the Conservative Blues Show here on the Conservative Broadcast Media with your host, Kerry Shelton, sitting over there, and me, who screwed up just now, hiding over here in the corner.
All right. Well, I hate to change up gears so quickly, but we're going to go from having some fun to getting a little serious. What do you think?
Well, you know, the time comes every now and again.
All right. Well, hit it.
All right.
It is with great sadness we report the tragic death of an American hero, Chris Kyle. The former Navy SEAL was killed along with another man at a gun range in Texas. It's believed the two were fatally shot while helping another soldier who was recovering from PTSD. And this is new video of the house where the suspect was found. We're hearing 25-year-old Eddie Ray Ralph has been arraigned on 2 counts of capital murder. Kyle wrote the best-selling book, American Sniper, about his service in Iraq. He was the most lethal sniper in U.S. military history, with more than 150 confirmed kills. He also received multiple Valor Awards, including 2 Silver Stars and 5 Bronze Stars. Here he is on Fox and Friends just last year.
Listen to this. I've lived the literal meaning of the land of the free and home of the brave. It's not corny for me. I feel it in my heart. I feel it in my chest, even at a ball game. You love this country.
I do, and that's one of my pet peeves, going to a game or any event and the national anthem comes on and people refuse to move their ball caps. You have to show respect. That flag is red, white, and blue, and the red stands for the blood the guys have spilled. Not just the guys here in Iraq, Afghanistan, but all through our history. You're not going out purposely just trying to kill people and rack up numbers. You're going out to save Americans.
Chris Kyle was 38 years old.
Well, there we are. If you don't know who Chris Kyle is been deemed America's deadliest sniper. 169 confirmed kills in the Southeast Asia theater. He was with a friend, and they were counseling a veteran with PTSD. I'm not sure the circumstances that led them to this gun range for this counseling. I can't speak to that part. But at some point during the intervention, if you will, the vet shot Chief Kyle in the back and several times, and killed their companion as well. He then escaped in Chief Kyle's truck, went home, and then left there after some time, and was apprehended by the local police, I believe it's Lancaster, where he is now under arrest. Many of you, if you've watched Bill O'Reilly and Fox News, Chief Kyle appeared a number of times on Fox Network. His best-selling book, American Sniper. A lot of people say, well, he made a lot of money off that, but Chief Kyle didn't keep any of that money. He has a charity that he set up for stressed vets, and all the proceeds from that book went to his charity. Mm-hmm. So the Blaze put together a list of the 10 best quotes coming out of Chief Kyle's book, and I thought I would share them with you. One of them you actually heard there, but we'll go over that in a second. But here we go. In honor of his life, we have included these 10 best quotes from his incredible memoir, American Sniper, courtesy of commonquote.com. Number 10. To top things off, the Iraqis had sent some Scuds over just before the war started. Most had been taken care of by Patriot missiles, but one got through. Wouldn't you know it, it took out the Starbucks where we'd hung out during our pre-war training. That's low, hitting a coffee place. Could have been worse, I guess. It could have been a Dunkin' Donuts. Yeah. Number 9. Isn't religion supposed to teach tolerance? Obviously not Islam, Chief Kyle. Number 8. At another location, we found barrels of chemical material that was intended for use as biochemical weapons. Everyone talks about there being no weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, but they seem to be referring to completed nuclear bombs, not the many deadly chemical weapons or precursors that Saddam had stockpiled. Now, I will go 100% behind Chief Kyle on this, and I've had this argument with dozens of people, literally. There are no weapons of mass destruction. Well, if you're talking about completed nuclear weapons, you're right. Weren't there. But the chemical weapons stockpiles were there, the basis for making them. I personally observed some. All right. Yes, they were expired. Oh, okay. Expired milk's still milk. It just stinks. And it's not good for you. So if letting good milk go bad, letting good milk expire makes it bad, what do you think chemical weapons do when they expire? It just means they're not safe for delivery because of the corrosion factor. Number 7. Began teaching my son how to shoot when he was 2, starting with the basics of a BB rifle. My theory is that kids get into trouble because of curiosity. If you don't satisfy it, you're asking for big problems. If you inform them and carefully instruct them on safety when they're young, you avoid a lot of the trouble. My son has learned to respect weapons. I've always told him, if you want to use a gun, come get me. There's nothing I like better than shooting. Number 6. The rules are drawn up by lawyers who are trying to protect the admirals and generals from the politicians. They're not written by people who are worried about the guys on the ground getting shot. Amen. Speaking of the rules of engagement. Number 5. I never really believed the Iraqis would turn the country into a truly functioning democracy, but I thought at one point that there was a chance. I don't know that I believe that now. It's a pretty corrupt place, but I didn't risk my life to bring democracy to Iraq. I risked my life for my buddies, to protect my friends and fellow countrymen. I went to war for my country, not Iraq. My country sent me out there so that bullshit wouldn't make its way back to our shores. I never once fought for the Iraqis. I could give a flying fuck about them. And yes, that's the quote. Again, I agree with you, Chief. There, and I felt the same way. Number 4, people tell me I saved hundreds and hundreds of people, but I have to tell you, it's not the people you saved that you remember. It's the ones you couldn't save. Those are the ones you talk about. Those are the faces and situations that stay with you forever. Number 3, another question people ask a lot. Did it bother you killing so many people in Iraq? I tell them, no, and I mean it. The first time you shoot someone, you get a little nervous. You think, can I really shoot this guy? Is it really okay? But after you kill your enemy, you see it's okay. You say, great. You do it again and again. You do it so the enemy won't kill you or your countrymen. You do it until there's no one left for you to kill. That's what war is. Couldn't agree more. Number 2, it gives you a little glimpse into Chief Kyle's sense of humor. Just because war is hell doesn't mean you can't have a little fun. I don't know what he did to have fun, but all right. And number 1, the one that you heard paraphrased earlier in the recording. I live the literal meaning of the land of the free and the home of the brave. It's not corny for me. I feel it in my heart. I feel it in my chest. Even in a ball game when someone talks during the anthem or doesn't take off his hat, it pisses me off. And I'm not one to be quiet about it either. What do you think, Rick?
Very outspoken individual.
Well, those are all quotes coming out of his autobiography.
Right. And, like I said, it's very outspoken. He said what he meant and meant what he said.
Now, also, he reveals that he and Jesse Ventura had a confrontation. Jesse Ventura, who was never a SEAL, by the way. He was a UDT frogman. There were no SEALs when he came in. The UDT and the SEALs were combined, I think, like 8 years after Jesse Ventura left the Navy. But he was his time's version of the SEALs.
Right.
And by the way, he never did serve in Vietnam. Let's make that clear. Jesse Ventura never served in Vietnam. He served during Vietnam. Now, I'm not taking anything away from his service, but there are a lot of people out there who misrepresent Jesse Ventura and his service. So, and the reason I'm telling you all this is because at one point, Chief Kyle makes the claim that Ventura and he were in a bar, not together, but at the same time. Ventura saying a bunch of vile crap, and Kyle says he went over and knocked Ventura on his ass and left. Of course, Ventura filed a defamation suit for $50,000, and even though Chief Kyle has been murdered, Jesse Ventura continues on with the defamation suit.
Oh yeah, rather petty.
It's worth noting that Chief Kyle did offer to settle, but backed out when they said that he would have to admit that he lied, and he said no, he didn't lie.
Yeah, well, I mean, Jesse Ventura was a wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
Not a real wrestler, but a on TV wrestler.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what do you expect?
Well, you'd think I mean, I know he wasn't a SEAL, but he was UDT,
Right.
and you would think he would have a little bit more respect for uh, his fellow special operations troops, especially the Navy SEALs.
Yeah, but how much time did he spend taking steroids to be able to act like he was fighting on TV?
Yeah, yeah. Well, and it doesn't end there either. You know, our good old buddy, former Congressman Ron Paul. Oh, he of the conspiracy theory nut syndrome. Ron Paul tweeted out right after apparently he learned of Chief Kyle's death. It appears that he who lives by the sword die by the sword. Now, I'm sorry. I mean, regardless of how you feel about Chief Kyle and what his representations were of his service, or what you feel about the war in Iraq or in Afghanistan, you know, that's low, and it's kind of in keeping with what you would expect from a Ron Paul or one of his minions.
Yeah, and when I heard it, I couldn't say I was surprised.
No, not at all. Not at all. That actually drew some response from Sergeant Dakota Meyer, from the Marine Corps. Actually, I think he's one of the only living receiving he's one of three living recipients of the Medal of Honor for service in Iraq or Afghanistan. Dakota Sergeant Meyer tweeted his response. Hey, Ron Paul, have you lost your mind? That sword protected your freedom. Guess since I live by it, I deserve to get murdered as well. Wow. Let's see. He went on to further tweet to Ron Paul. Let me remind you, Ron Paul, Chris Kyle is an American hero to not only myself but to Americans. Rest in peace, Chris Kyle. Now, we hoped that Ron Paul was just going to shuffle off into oblivion, but apparently not. I don't want to take this away from Chief Kyle, but I do want to. I do want to give back Ron Paul's attempt at an apology. Are you right?
Okay.
Quote, this is from Ron Paul. He issued this statement on Twitter and his Facebook page. Quote, as a veteran, I certainly recognize that this weekend's violence and killing of Chris Kyle were a tragic and sad event. My condolences and prayers go out to Mr. Kyle's family. Unconstitutional and unnecessary wars have endless unintended consequences. A policy of nonviolence, as Christ preached, would have prevented this and similar tragedies.
Yeah.
Does that give you an idea how scary, stupid libertarians are?
Yeah, you can't fix stupid.
No, you certainly can't. But you can certainly try to avoid it in your everyday life. At any rate, I did want to touch on the Chief Chris Kyle death and say that here in my admiration and respect, and our condolences go out to his wife and two small children. And hey, Ron Paul, fuck you.
No, I don't think I'll be sticking it to Ron Paul.
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem like fun to me, man.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're up on a break, buddy. Right?
Yeah, let's go ahead and take it out. I say that get us back on schedule, and I promise not to be late coming back this time. You're listening to the Conservative Blues Show here on the Conservative Broadcast Media. We'll be right back right after this.
Feeling lonely this holiday season?
Looking for little human interaction?
Do you want to feel contact in certain special places?
Then why not go through security at an airport?
The TSA.
TSA agents are ready and standing by to give you a little something extra to feel thankful about this holiday season.
The TSA.
What are you waiting for? I want to check under your testicles.
Spending time with a TSA agent couldn't be easier. Simply book a flight departing from any American airport. When selected for a full body scanner, say no. You'll be pulled aside by a TSA agent, and that's when the fun begins. And you never know who your agent will be.
It could be me.
Or me. Or even me.
But it's probably gonna be us. Take off your damn shoes.
The TSA. It's our business to touch yours.
Welcome to the Bureau of Womanhood Conformity. Independent thoughts are considered subversive because all must agree with our leader.
When it comes to women, preventative care should include coverage of contraceptive services such as birth control.
You see, if you don't believe government should pay for your birth control, you're not a real woman. Womanhood denied. If you refuse to accept that pregnancy is a punishment, you're denied as well.
I don't want them punished with a baby.
If you don't believe that abortions should be allowed for any reason, if you don't believe in aborting a child for being the wrong gender, and if you don't believe that stay-at-home mothers aren't real workers, you are not a real conformed woman.
His wife has actually never worked a day in her life. His wife has actually never worked a day in her life.
Finally, for your safety, if you oppose mandatory government health care, you will die.
They will be voting to say that women can die on the floor.
These standards and regulations were formed after our glorious victory in the war on women. Thank you for your cooperation and your conformity.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!
Woo! Y'all gonna make me lose my mind. Up in here, up in here. Y'all gonna make me go all out. Up in here, up in here. Y'all gonna make me act a fool. Up in here, up in here. Y'all gonna make me lose my cool. Up in here, up in here. If I got to bring it to you, cowards, then it's gonna be.
All right.
I hate it.
Yeah, right. We're back here in the Conservative Blues Zone. We're a zone now. Did you know that?
Sweet.
Yeah, on Conservative Broadcast Media with your host, Kerry Sheldon, who's sitting up there. And Me, I'm just the comic relief sidekick, Rick Webb, sitting right over here.
Nice. All right. Well, a lot of talk lately about gun control. And, you folks, you already know where we stand on this. The Second Amendment got nothing to do with hunting. It's about defending yourself against tyranny and oppression. Those are words that get thrown around a lot by the libertarian crowd. But, let's be honest, that is exactly what the founders kept the Second Amendment in there for. Was not to be able to go hunting. They just consider that to be one of those duh moments where everybody should be allowed to go hunting because that's how they fed themselves. But they kept it in there because the last thing in the world you want is for a disarmed public, and then the government can do just whatever it feels like doing, whenever it feels like doing. Hey, we're not that far off it now, and we have weapons. Imagine what they would be doing if we didn't have them. All right, so I went to a great wellspring of knowledge. Many of you may be familiar with the cable show Penn and Teller bullshit. Now, while I don't agree with Penn Jillette on everything, he does offer you some very keen insights while his buddy Teller makes silly faces and performs magic tricks behind him. Unfortunately, you will not get the full effect being over audio only. You won't be able to see the funny faces that Mr. Teller makes or whatever magic tricks he may perform, but you will get to hear Penn Jillette give you a great explanation on the Second Amendment. So, Rick, take it away, bub.
So what does the Second Amendment actually say? A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of the free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. That's it. Not a lot of words, just very specific ones.
It means that the states have the right to have a well-regulated militia. And a 20-year-old kid carrying an assault weapon on the streets of downtown America has absolutely nothing to do with a well-regulated militia.
Well, no. Read the words. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. Sure, you need an organized military force to defend your country, but the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. This is the people, in contrast with the militia. It doesn't say the right of the militia to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. It says the right of the people. Now, why the word people? Because the people who wrote this had just fought a war for 2 years against a tyrannical state militia. They knew the time might come when they'd have to do that again. So they made the possession of weapons a right that the militia could never take away. Now, gun control advocates say the phrasing is clumsy, and the comma separating the state from the people is just a pause to get your breath. Strange, they can't seem to point out any other places where those hack framers fucked up the word.
Isn't that special?
It is. It truly is. And I couldn't have said it better myself. Where they only point to this one clause, saying, "Oh, it just means just means militia." No, it doesn't. It doesn't mean militia. Well, and even if it did, what is a militia?
Right.
A militia is a group of citizens loosely formed that are armed to protect their neighborhoods, their state, their county, whatever. Doesn't mean the United States Army. And all you knuckleheads out there that think only the police and the military should have guns, well, the criminals don't give a shit what you think.
Preach on, brother man.
And they're going to get guns regardless. I mean, why else do you think these killings happen in gun-free zones? You ever notice that? They never kill a bunch of people at a gun show.
No, they don't do that, do they?
Because their body count's not going to be nearly as high.
And let me ask you a question while we're talking about it. Where's the most instance of crime in the United States right now?
The highest, if you're talking about the murder rate,
right?
Well, it's in Chicago.
And who's got the toughest gun laws in the United States right now?
Well, that would be Chicago.
Right, because what does that mean?
Well, it means just like the book title says, more guns, less crime. So obviously the corollary to that would be less guns, more crime.
Abso-freaking-lutely. Yeah,
It doesn't take a genius to know that if you're going to rob someone and you know where they're not allowed to carry guns, well, that's where you go.
right. Just like if you're doing a home invasion and you go all the way up and down the road and you look for the one hippie. You know, the one guy with a peace sign hanging outside his house because you know that, you're going to be able to walk right in there, steal everything he's got.
No, it's not the peace sign anymore. It's the coexist bumper sticker.
I coexist on this.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, whatever. I don't care about that hippie bullshit. All I'm saying is, this like, what was there somebody said that they were going to put a sign outside their house saying this is a gun-free zone.
Mm-hmm.
And then somebody, the other guy was talking to said, why don't you just cut all that out and just say what you really mean. This is an open invitation to come in and rape my family.
Exactly.
Criminals are not, most criminals anyway, are not stupid. They're going to go where the easiest pickings are because they're stealing stuff as opposed to working for it because they're too lazy to work for it.
Mm-hmm.
So why do they want to work through an armed individual when they can find one who isn't?
Exactly. And, the best security system you can have is a sticker on your front door that says, "This house protected by Smith & Wesson."
Oh, yeah.
Because every criminal knows what Smith & Wesson is.
Right.
Now, this home protected by ADT? Cool. That means I got at least 5 minutes to get in and out.
Yes.
And unless you can run 1,500 meters per second, you ain't outrunning my weapon.
Yeah. And you are not likely to be visited.
Mm-mm.
So that's why I'd say at this point that the criminals are shipping themselves into Chicago.
It's the easiest place.
Yeah, it's just right pickings. You can walk in there and it's just like you said. And if you look at it, how many Walmarts have been robbed over the years?
Sure.
But you never hear about them robbing the sporting goods section, do you?
No. Oh, they'll shoplift like a mug.
Right.
But you don't see a lot of them going in there, showing out, taking hostages in the Walmart because, hey, there's a guy right there by the gun case.
Exactly.
And you know what? There's ammunition right down below it, too. So go ahead, bub.
And it doesn't take a brain surgeon to be able to say, ooh, shotgun shell. I bet if I put this in here and move this action right here and pull the trigger, I bet it goes boom.
Mm-hmm.
Shotgun go boom.
Well, also in the same show that clip came from, the Penn and Teller, you remember the incident back just outside of Fort Hood when this happened?
Yeah.
Where the guy drove his truck into the Libby's or the Luby's cafeteria.
Right.
And just started opening fire, killing all these people in there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there was a woman who was there that day that survived the incident. She was there with her mother and father. That show goes on to give her story. The guy, her father, charged the guy. She said he wasn't walking in just spraying bullets randomly and indiscriminately. He was taking careful aim and then shooting individuals. Her father charged at the guy. Of course, he easily dropped him. Her mother went over to the father's body and cradled him in her arms while the guy wandered around shooting people. The woman, the daughter, an adult daughter, hid out, trying to hide behind barricades, tables, whatever. And then the guy made his way back around to where his father was laying in her mother's arms, and put the gun to her head with the police right there outside and killed her. Now, the rest of the story, as Paul Harvey would say, is that the woman whose parents that was had a weapon.
Yeah.
She had a firearm. Unfortunately, it was in her car because the place where they went was a gun-free zone. And she, being a law-abiding citizen, left her firearm in the car. Lesson here, folks, is that criminals don't give a damn what sticker you put on a door. They don't care that it's illegal to have a firearm in these gun-free zones. They're already breaking the law by committing murder, assault. The weapons are most likely illegal weapons that they've stolen from somewhere, or bought off the streets. How many laws have they already broken before they go on their shooting rampage? And you think a sticker on the door saying, no, this is a gun-free zone. Well, damn.
Yeah, I guess
I
we'll
can't go in there.
have to rob this place with popsicle sticks.
You know, I mean, it's just ridiculously stupid. You know, whereas if that lady had Libby's not been, or Luby's, whatever it was, Luby's, had it not been a gun-free zone, that lady may have felt free to bring her firearm in with her, and the outcome would have been different.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we don't know that she would have been able to take care of him quickly or not, but you can't say for sure it would have been different. People say, well, she may have shot an innocent bystander. Hey, he was doing that already. You know, what would have happened in Sandy Hook had there been, a couple of firearms in there? I saw a statistic that said, the average death toll when the police stop a mass shooting is something like 14 point something. And then the average death toll of a rampage when a civilian with a firearm stops it was 2 point something. It's not that the police are less adept at stopping this guy, but they got to get there first.
That is correct.
And what's the old thing? When seconds matter, the police are only minutes away. Now, let's take another look at this, and we can even look at it from the Paul Bot point of view. You know, do you really want the only people to have weapons are be the police and the military? Okay, well, because they're there to protect you? Well, no, the police are not there to protect you. The police are there to enforce law and investigate crime. The Supreme Court has already ruled on this one. Police are under no obligation to protect you. That's not their job. Their job is to investigate the crimes and to apprehend criminals, enforce the law. So put your hands in the hands of police. Maybe when the next time someone kicks in your front door, you say, hey, wait. There's no guns in this house. Give me a minute to call the police, please. Really? I mean, that's just asinine. It truly, truly is. So, I mean, when it comes down to the bottom here, folks, you gotta understand that if you don't want to own a weapon, fine, don't. It's your right to not own a weapon, but it's our right to own weapons. And I, for one, believe we ought to be able to buy whatever weapon the military has. If it's a firearm, you ought to be able to possess it. Now, do I want that in the hands of just anybody? Of course I don't, but it is their right. I'll go back and I'll say this again, when when Rosa Parks didn't have to sit down on the bus to get where she was going, but it was her right to. I don't have to have an AR-15, but it's my right to own one if I choose. Now, if you can find some flaw in that, by all means, contact me. You tell me how it's how Rosa Parks had didn't have to give up her seat. She didn't have to. It was she didn't have to be seated on that bus, but it was her right to be seated. She shouldn't have had to give up her seat to a white guy. It was her right to be seated. She didn't have to be seated, but it was her right to be. Just as the same as I don't have to have a firearm, but it is my right to have one. If you can tell me how I'm wrong here, then I'll listen. But you're going to have to come pretty hard because there's just no way around that. Wouldn't you agree, sir?
Oh, I wasn't going to argue with you.
I think that's the best example I can give you. I mean, how much more clear can we make it? We are granted by our creators with certain inalienable rights. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness among them. Well, the Bill of Rights also spells out the Second Amendment. The right of the people to bear arms shall not be infringed. Shall not. That doesn't mean the right of the people to keep and bear arms can only be enforced with a background check. It doesn't say anything about can only have muskets. It doesn't say anything about can't have a rifle with a pistol grip. It doesn't say anything about magazine capacities. It doesn't say anything about keeping it flintlock.
I think you can do a hell of a lot of damage with a black powder rifle.
Oh my God, those things are heavy caliber, dude.
Yeah.
45, 44, 50. Oh my, they're devastating. And it doesn't use a bullet, they use a slug, a big metal ball. That'll do a hell of a lot more damage than a full metal jacketed round will.
Yeah.
I shoot you with an AR-15, it's a clean wound. Zip, in, out, makes a nice little hole. I shoot you with a musket, it makes a mess.
See, and that's the stuff they had back then too, Mm-hmm. Anyway, I would actually like to pick this up for just a minute on the other side because I want to add a little something to the melee here. But we're up on break, so I'm going to go ahead and take us out there. You're listening to the Conservative Blues Show here on Conservative Broadcast Media. We'll be right back right after this.
Today is a special day. Today we gather as a nation and as an international community to recognize the selfless decision of one of the most influential women of our time. She's been recognized by religious figures and politicians around the world. To us, she's just Rachel. But to the rest of the world, she's the woman who, after having one too many drinks, chose not to drive home buzzed. Here today to honor Rachel is the family whose lives she spared.
Save a life. Don't drive buzzed. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
I was in chronic pain, and my family struggling to make ends meet, food and gas prices going up, even keeping my job was iffy.
Then I learned about a new miracle drug made in Washington, D.C. Spenditol. Spenditol is Washington's answer to all the painful problems Americans face. How to borrow $800 billion for a stimulus that didn't create jobs or fix the economy? Spenditol.
Spenditol is not for everyone. Side effects may include a mountain of government debt piled on our kids, a sudden loss of freedoms, higher prices for everything, leaving our kids a lesser America than we had. Ask your doctor or congressman if your conscience is strong enough for Spenditol.
And it's so popular in Washington, we have to import trillions more of it from China. Spenditol makes you feel better now and pushes off the really bad stuff till later, for them to deal with.
Call the White House and Congress. Tell them, stop spending it all.
All right, welcome back to the Conservative Blues Show here exclusively on Conservative Broadcast Media with your host, Kerry Shelton, sitting over there, around there. He's around the way right now.
I'm over here.
Yeah, he's over there. And then me, I'm just here.
All right, brother, you say you want to expound a little bit on that Second Amendment debate.
Yeah, I just want to quickly, just throw it out there. Why the Second Amendment is in the Constitution in the first place. Because I think that we've forgotten this. So you got to go back to the time, and as it was mentioned, I guess somewhere or another in something we said in the last half an hour. We just got through fighting a war with a country that we were, formerly a part of. We fought for independence. One of the things that they did was come around and take up your arms. If you want to dominate someone, the first thing you do is disarm them. You don't see the police throwing handcuffs on people with guns in their hand. It just doesn't happen that way. Okay, so the founding fathers, in their infinite wisdom, there was the arguments, and this is the that and that, and the 10 amendments were put in as a pushover because the Constitution wasn't going to get ratified as it stood. Those 10 amendments, the Bill of Rights, were put in to protect the specific rights of the citizens. And one of the big debates was, can this government that we're getting ready to put into place here come in and take my guns, take my right to protect myself? And so the Founding Fathers made sure that they had put it in there that the answer to that question was no, shall not be infringed. Just like if you go to the 10th Amendment, it speaks very plainly that anything that is not specifically in the Constitution falls to the purview of the states. And we've already thrown that one all to hell.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to put that in there. I mean, I could go through and start pulling out stuff from the Federalist Papers and all that, but we don't have time for that now. That's something for another show. I just want you guys to understand that you were given that right by your ancestors. And if you wish to throw it away, move to California, it's getting ready to fall in the ocean anyway.
It is what it is, my friends. And that is, I couldn't, we can put it in the historical context. It is the tried and true method of every despot in history. When you take over, when you want to take over a people, you disarm them.
Right.
You take away their means of defending themselves, of fending off your attacks. Then you're left defenseless.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, by all means, this is not the first attack on the Second Amendment. It's just the latest attack on the Second Amendment.
Yeah, but it's something that's I guess never going to go away.
Yeah, I saw an interview with and the thing I kept alluding to earlier. I saw an interview with a guy who's like, will taking away all guns from Americans make us a better people, a nicer people? He said no, but it would make us a safer people. Bullshit. No. Unadulterated bullshit. Japan has some of the most draconian gun laws in the world, and their murder rate is astronomical.
Right, because and that's the thing that the people, once again with a little history lesson, the firearm as we know it, meaning the projectile weapon with gunpowder and a gun,
mm-hmm.
It hasn't existed but a fraction of the time that humanity has been here. Before that, we were killing each other with spears and bows and arrows and swords.
Clubs, knives.
Yeah.
We kill each other with chairs.
Yeah.
Even today. I mean, in the FBI crime statistics, when you put more people were stomped or beaten to death in 2011 than were shot with a rifle.
What about baseball bats?
Baseball bats is the top murder weapon in America.
Exactly. And, so if you took every firearm, every gun away from everybody in the world, we'd still figure out a way to kill each other.
It's I don't know what the thought process, how you think this is going to make you safer. This is just the sheeple going along with what their government says. It's the same groups of people. Well, it kind of goes back to this thing where I saw at one time where the difference between a conservative and a liberal. If a conservative doesn't like a television show, he changes the channel. If a liberal doesn't like a television show, he demands that the network get rid of it. If a conservative doesn't like firearms, he doesn't buy one. A liberal, if they don't like firearms, demands that they all be destroyed. It's just like, where does that mindset come from?
The same people who decide that, it being tax season, I got to throw this out here. The same people that decide you're a single person with 2 kids and you should get $9,000 back on your tax return, even though you only paid in $550.
Right. Well, that's a whole government dependence thing.
Right, but it's that same mindset. It's a the government will give you more money than it owes you. Is kind of similar to the government will protect you, so you don't need a firearm.
Well, I mean, this nanny state, cradle to the grave crap. I mean, let's also keep in mind that liberals, you're not a person until you're born. So, while you're still in your mother's womb, you're not safe at all.
No.
But once you're born, hey, the sky's the limit as long as you don't mind being on the government dole. They will take care of you. You won't ever have to worry about anything as long as you live what we tell you, eat what we tell you, buy what we tell you, don't buy what we tell you not to buy. Where is the personal responsibility? And, and the thing with the guns and kids, you can't leave a gun around the house. The children, they'll get hurt. Well, no. And I agree, going back to Chief Kyle, his thing there where he said, you take the mystery away. Hey, this is what a gun is. You show it to them. You take them out. You let them fire it. Bang. Wow. Ooh, that's loud. I don't want to play with that. That hurts my ears. Somebody can get hurt with that. I'm very, teach them respect for it. Take the mystery away from it. There's another statistics that people out there are with guns in the home are 43% more likely to hurt themselves with than they would a intruder. Maybe so, maybe not. But as the old parachute analogy goes, it's better to have a parachute what is it? The people who need a parachute or a gun the first time and don't have one probably won't ever need one again.
That's very true. All right, let me ask you this. Okay, let's go back to the pioneers. We've been talking about the pioneers in, 3 years now?
Yeah.
Okay, so the pioneers, they always had guns, right?
Yeah.
Because they had to have somebody to defend themselves from the Indians.
And that's how they ate.
And that's how they ate. They hunted for their food, right?
Right.
So you mean to tell me that all of those kids that grew up in those houses with those pioneers, with those guns, were unsafe? Okay, so if you follow that train of logic, every pioneer in history would have gotten wiped out by somebody or another, and you wouldn't be in California. You'd have never got there.
Right. Well, we all know it's a bullshit statistic, and it's just another thing. Whenever a liberal finds himself losing on a social argument, it's always, you're either a racist or, hey, it's for the children. Well, you know what? If your children are stupid enough to grab a loaded gun and point it in their own face, then they probably shouldn't grow up to have more little retarded children either.
Yeah, because all people are stupid.
Well, it kind of goes back to George Carlin. He says, back when he was a kid, the kid that ate too many marbles didn't get to grow up and have other kids.
Yeah.
So natural selection. And I don't mean to make a light of it because it's a serious subject. But, you keep guns out of the 3-year-old, the 4-year-old, 5-year-old hands. You don't let them play with it. You put them someplace where they can't get to them.
Yeah, let me make it. I got a suggestion. Why don't, rather than sitting around with your ass in front of the computer playing on Facebook or watching whatever TV show you're watching, why don't you spend some time with your kids, and then they wouldn't have an opportunity to get a gun in the first place.
Yeah. Well, there was an incident that happened, I think, either yesterday or this morning, where a 3-year-old kid got a hold of daddy's gun and accidentally shot with the 4-year-old sibling.
Mm-hmm.
Now, mommy and daddy were gone or at work, but grandma and grandpa were in the house. So that tells me somebody wasn't watching the grandkids.
Right.
So, folks, stop using the kids on this one. Now, nobody's buying it. If you got a kid that's dumb enough to put a loaded gun in let's specify here, all guns are loaded guns.
Exactly.
All guns are loaded guns. What do you mean? If you treat every gun like it's loaded, like it's chock-a-block full of bullets and the hammer's pulled back and it's just waiting to go off, you will never point that in somebody without meaning to kill them. And you certainly won't point it in your own face. Again, unless you mean to kill yourself.
Yeah, that usually is not a good idea.
Do you ever? I have never. I don't. I am. I am extremely familiar with firearms. You're familiar with my history in the military and combat deployments. I'm extremely familiar with firearms, almost to the point of nonchalantness. But I've never gotten so nonchalant that I didn't treat every firearm with some respect. I never, ever, ever look down the barrel of a weapon. Never. Well, I will say this: unless it's a disassembled weapon and I'm holding the barrel in my hand and there's no receiver on it,
right?
Only then to make sure it's clean.
Yeah, let's look and see if it's straight.
And even then, I didn't really dig that at all. And it's still there's something visceral about looking down the barrel of a weapon, whether you know it's loaded or even when it's disassembled. I can remember in basic training when the drill sergeant said, "Okay, you got your weapon disassembled, you're cleaning the barrel. This is that. Now look down the barrel, make sure it's all cleaned out." Mind you, I'm holding the barrel in my hand, and the rest of the weapon is on the bunk in front of me. I still did not like looking down the barrel of that weapon. Just something instinctual about that. It says, "Hey, not good."
Yeah.
This is the business end. Let's turn around and look down the other end. I can do that. Look at it from the breech. Okay, I'll do that. I can do that. No problem. Yeah, it looks clean. Reassemble. But, we keep too many of these soft-ass punks alive anyway.
Yeah, well, you're back into natural selection there, buddy.
Yeah, I know. And all these sanitized, freshly scrubbed little punks that get a trophy just for showing up. Something wrong with these weak little kids now anyway. Trying to thin the herd, damn it. Okay, over the top. I hear you. But, all kidding aside, the Second Amendment is there for a purpose, and it's got nothing to do with hunting. It's got nothing to do with burglars. It's not exclusively about burglars. It's about the right of every American to protect himself, his home, his family, be it from the burglar or from justice run amok.
Right.
And if you're willing to sacrifice your freedom for what you call a little bit of security, well, as Ben Franklin would tell you, you're going to get neither.
Yeah, because you're not getting any security. You're giving away your security.
Well, I would direct you towards Australia and the United Kingdom, both of whom have instituted some serious gun control laws within the last several years. And they didn't see the decline in the murder rate that they were expecting. They didn't see the decline in gun crime that they were expecting. It was quite the opposite. They saw increases in gun crime, increases in murder rates. As I mentioned previously, Japan has some of the highest murder rates in the world. And they're not shooting each other. They're throwing them off buildings. They're beating them to death with bats. They're kicking them to death with their feet, and they're beating the stuffing out of each other with their hands or lead pipes or candlesticks or whatever clue piece there is. They're hanging their enemies. Humans have the propensity for violence. We are violent creatures. We respond to violence with violence, and one of the best ways to forestall violence is being armed. A lot of times, a burglar breaks in, all you got to do is say, "Hey, I got a gun," and they leave. Or if they don't leave, you show it to them, and they leave. Or you show it to them, they don't, then you blast them. Personally, if you see my weapon, that means you're going to die. Because if we get to the point where I pull it, I've got to use it.
Yes, I would have to shoot you.
I will show you my pistol, but you are going to die at the end of it. Now, you can leave now or wait to be carried out by the coroner. Now, as long as there are empty-headed liberals out there with this fourth-grade mentality that I want somebody to take care of me and to look after me, and I don't really need all this freedom. Well, as long as those people exist, there's still going to be those that come back and try to take your rights away from you in the name of what they think is security.
Yeah. Now, who was it today? There was somebody today who's like in charge of something or another who said that Americans have too much freedom.
John Brennan, the former counterterrorism chief for Mr. Obama's administration, is now and the nominee to take over as director of the CIA. He was saying Americans have too much freedom and that the First Amendment should be curtailed. They need the sense of the press. Folks, I guess what Rick is trying to tell you, this isn't a one-tiered attack. They're attacking us on all levels.
Oh, yeah.
The First Amendment's under attack. The Second Amendment's under attack. The 10th Amendment has been destroyed. The Fourth Amendment, the right against unwarranted search and seizure, that's gone. Can you say rendition? We get a memo out today from the Department of Justice saying, hey, it's legal to kill Americans with drones, right? We just got to assert that they are in some way high-level commander with Al-Qaeda or some like-minded organization. Now, so far, they're saying only on foreign soil. But when asked, the director of the FBI couldn't say it would be limited to that. Judge Napolitano of Fox News Network asked that question. Or he's not on Fox anymore. Where's he at? Anyway, I saw the interview with Judge Napolitano with the FBI director. He said, the FBI director couldn't say, well, no, it's only on foreign soil. Who does that apply to? You're a senior leader in Al-Qaeda or an associated organization. Does that mean anybody? And that you have to prove that you're not? Of course, your relatives will have to prove that you weren't.
Right, because it's kind of hard to prove with a drone shoved up your ass.
Yeah, it's when you got a Hellfire missile that blows your house to pieces, like some are saying that happened in Indianapolis. The jury's still out on that for me. But when a drone shoots a Hellfire missile in your home, you're not going to be around to defend yourself saying, hey, look, I'm not a terrorist. What the hell? Your family's going to have to prove that you weren't. This is the direction your government is taking this nation.
Yeah, it's supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, and now we're looking more like guilty until proven innocent.
Well, here's the rub on this. Now, let's think back a few years back when the liberals were doing belly flops because of we were quote unquote torturing prisoners of war. Oh, we've got to give them full. We have to read them their Miranda rights. We got to give them access to American civil justice. But on the other hand, these are the same liberals that are saying, oh, yeah, cool. Kill Americans with drones. Where's their due process? Now, so far, it's only been, what is his name, Khan and Al-Awlaki. And I think we both agree that those were legit kills. Those were two guys on a foreign battlefield or in a foreign theater of operations that were in leadership roles in opposition. And al-Awlaki wasn't a true American citizen. He was a Yemeni citizen with dual citizenship in America. But by that same token, he was a combatant. He just wasn't having to be fighting at the time when they caught him. Now, they're going to take that and bring that here. Well, maybe so, maybe no. Nobody can say. At least nobody can define it to any extent that I've heard so far.
Of course not.
So, you know, it seems that if the administration deems that you are a terrorist, damn, they can fly a drone over your house and blow you to smithereens, whether you're an American citizen or not.
Yeah, well, I'm sitting out there on drone watch myself right now. But look, buddy, it's that time again, bud.
It goes by so fast every time.
Yes, it does.
Well, you want to lead us on out then, my brother?
All right, well, I just want to say thank you on behalf of the group and ourselves, and I hope we pass the audition.
Indeed, Tom.
Yes, well, you guys have a good night. Listen in next week, same bat time, same bat channel for the Conservative Blues Show. This is me, and you know who I am. If you don't, I don't really care. Be safe and be informed.
And this is your conservative cult of personality, Kerry Shelton, signing out, saying, hey, join me on Monday, 9 o'clock, for the launch of our Politically Incorrect show, the Conservative Blues Politically Incorrect edition. I'll be airing that every Monday night, 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern. And then I will be joining my partner in crime, Mr. Rick Webb, every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern for the regular Conservative Blues show. So we will see you then. And, hey, for all the rest of you out there, good night, America, wherever you are.
I don't want to talk to you no more, you empty-headed animal food trough whopper. I fart in your general direction. Your mother was a hamster, and your father smelt of elderberries. Now go away, or I shall taunt you a second time.